46th ASICS Clovis Invitational, Rob Brenner Boys Championship race. We already know that Mario Montoya is one of the best sophomores in California. Today he put himself among the best 10th graders, among the best performers, period, in the United States. 14:57.7. Oh, by the way, school record here on the 5K course at Woodward Park. And when you're talking about the history and the legacy and the tradition of the Redondo Union program under the great Bob Leach, that is rarefied air. You got a little time to let it wash over you, process. Obviously, you and Bob were having a walk and talk. Just what's in your heart, man? Like, I'm so inspired by even if you were a senior, I'd be inspired by this performance, but especially as a sophomore.
Yeah, I'm super excited, super happy that I managed to piece it together. Everything that kind of we've been talking about and that I've been lacking really from Woodbridge kind of and before that, it really clicked today. It was going good at Portland that we were just at a couple weeks ago, and then today I was like, it's finally going to happen, and I was super excited for this race. I'm counting down the days, and I'm just really glad that I managed to make it work.
Mario, it seemed like the best of both worlds. I appreciate you talking about Woodbridge and Nike Portland XC, because Woodbridge was going to be like the super deep, super elite, crazy fast, mile field. Nike Portland XC was going to be more of a strength course, of a true cross-country course, right? It seemed like you were able to blend the experiences, the wisdom, the insight from both, to put it together on the course that obviously matters the most for anybody in California.
Correct, yeah. So definitely I learned a lot from Woodbridge. I took it out really fast. I ended up going 4:35 through the first mile, and I couldn't handle that at the time. I died and kind of slow faded out and was really bummed that performance. And it gave me a little motivation, a little fight and a little, urge to get back. And then I kind of made the same mistake at Portland, but it was a little bit slower and a little bit better. And just learning little things here and there, like where to cover moves, kind of what stuff you can do to get your position a little higher, where not to make moves and stuff like that. And it kind of all clicked here in this course. I love this course and remembered a couple things from state last year. And so just with everything I learned, it all definitely happens.
You had done so much in youth track and youth cross country, but there's no substitute for having the opportunity, whether it's only at Clovis and and state, one or the other, to be on this course as a freshman, right? Like just that, again, that knowledge, that insight, that wisdom, the great teammates surrounding you. Again, Bob Leach has forgotten more about this course than we know. Yeah. How valuable was that for you to go through that last year? Obviously, I know you set a high level of expectation and a standard for your performance, but just to be able to come out here and be like, look, I'm not going to win, but it's like, but I am going to gain valuable experience, because ultimately, the goal for someone like you is to be out here 7-8 times in your career before it's all said and done. 100%. So how significant and how impactful was that in terms of what we saw today?
Yeah, it was super meaningful. As a freshman, I kind of got thrown around on this course. There's lots of nooks and crannies and all those hills, right? You can't memorize everything in a pre-meet. So you run the day before, and not all that information you're going to retain and kind of know exactly what to do. And then especially when you're racing it too, when you have momentum through turns, it really changes how you look at it. So last year I ended up running probably an extra 50 meters throughout the whole course. I was getting shoved around. I'd make a big move right before a big hill, and then I'd end up stuck and lactic, going up the whole hill. So definitely today, I kind of knew everything really well. I knew my tangents, what lines to run. I knew where to make those moves. And this experience just stacks up, especially as you get fitness. So going to junior and senior year, not only having the course knowledge and also the fitness and just the aerobic from everything that's been going for these past couple of years, it's definitely going to be rewarding. I know it is.
Most definitely. Whether it's coming from Bob, coming from older teammates, or just looking at the history and the legacy of the records, for Redondo. Seeing you as a freshman, and Bob and I talked about it, like I always felt like it was going to be a when and not an if, that if somebody was going to be able to get all those noteworthy marks, whether it was closer to home in the Bay League or certainly here at Woodward Park, it was going to be you. But to be able to have this happen on October 11th, we don't even have to wait for November 29th at the state meet. Like how much is this going to energize you and just drive you and fuel you to be an even better version of yourself at the state meet?
Oh, a ton. It's super motivating. At Woodbridge I got 30th, and I was pretty upset with it, as I already mentioned. And I was talking to my coach, and it was like after Portland, I was like, I kind of finally turned my season around. I'm kind of going in the right direction. And he's like, you haven't turned around anything. You've been good this whole time, but it's all this comparison. So really, I think now looking back at it, I didn't do terrible, but not what I was expected to. But now that it's finally going, you know, we're halfway through. It's not that early season stuff. At state, no one cares about Woodbridge, right? That's what you're running in the moment. So we're building up on it. You know, the graph's going straight up. So it's definitely all up from here, and that confidence is going to carry me through the entire season, especially when we're back at this course and I know that I got it under control.
Absolutely. I've always felt like one of the greatest gifts that Bob Leach gives his student athletes is just honesty. You know, it's not going to sugarcoat it. Going to tell you exactly like it is, even on your best performance of your career. You know, or maybe a more humbling performance of your career. You know, I know how much he cares about you. I know how much he cares about everybody in the program. But he's always going to be honest, because he realizes your potential before you even see your potential. And obviously, we're only scratching the surface on what we saw today. Again, 14:57.7 program record, 7th overall in the Rob Brenner Boys Championship race at 46 ASICS Clovis Invitational. Huge things on the horizon for this immense talent. Mario Montoya, well done, man.
Awesome, thank you. Appreciate it.